So I wish to argue that while looking at Islamic reform, we need to give it a new outlook. Emphasis was made on the study of Gumi, particularly as a theologian, why people look at his preaching, his interpretations and issues from the... But really we look at personality of Gumi as a special actor. When we say special or spatial, we are referring to location. The issue of space, location, area, point, and place. In geography, we distinguish space and place. Ilorin, up to areas around Obomosho, within the heart of Yoruba land. And within that, we could see that Islam and its reformation takes place in geographical entities, in location and territory. And then you have the issues like governance, and then the Islamic law, which is Sharia. So much after in 20th century, in the early part of 20th century, European came in 1903, and then they conquer Hausa land and introduce indirect rule, replacing the Sharia system in a relatively loose term, not completely. And also the power of Sarakuna has been somehow subdued. And then Western education was introduced. So I argue that at the first quarter of 20th century, that was between 1903 up to 1930s, the product of that period are people with Western education and Islamic education. And this gives them sound character, which makes most of them to be revolutionary in their own sense. People like Malam Aminu Kanu, people like Alhaji Abubakar Gumi himself. You have people like Ibn Sardauna in his own right. So most of them, you could see that they were born within that period of time, even the Saad Zungo and the like. So Gumi distinguished himself because when you compare him with most of them, he has more rooted and more sound Islamic knowledge. And that is why his revolution is more towards improving the religion and is seen as Islamic revolution. So I already talked about the gap. Most of the study focus on his theological teaching and his reformation. The issue of looking at space, place, networks, and movement has not been given much emphasis. And that is why I have these three questions. How did place shape Gumi's religious authority? How did mobility influence his reform? And how did urban centers amplify his influence? Because most of ideas start in urban area and from there spread to rural areas. So to do that, I use three theoretical framework. There is what you call humanistic geography. This is saying that it is the place, the location that shapes human life. Whatever you are doing is because of the bi'ah of your place where you are brought in. So, so the places in Islam of significance are mosques, courts, and schools. And we could see that Gumi moved across these three layers. And then the state authority, also if somebody has backing of the state, is likely for his da'wah or his reformation to succeed. Also, there is cultural diffusion theory. This is talking about how things are spread. So it said that whenever you begin something, it is the people very close to you that will be the early adopters. And then from there, they will take it to the distant area. And generally, ideas begin from urban areas to the rural area. And the other one is spatial interaction theory. And this is talking about issues of distance, accessibility, and hierarchy, that it is rare for movement to begin in rural area. It starts in urban area. And that while you are moving away from the area, the influence is declining. This is in relation to gravity model. I'm trying not to be as scientific as possible. Sorry, Chama. Now, to do my methodology is purely qualitative. I look at text, particularly the primary text, which include even his partly autobiography, partly biography, where I stand. And then the map was also used. So for the results, I argued that Gumi was born in Gumi, at least a distant village from Sokoto, a distant settlement about 110 kilometers by road. And this detached him from the conservative and culturally entrenched Sokoto, and it gives him some sort of independence. And we could see that he grew up in Sokoto like other of his contemporaries, he might not have his own ideas and his determination. We could see that even when he wrote a letter to Sultan complaining about him, mentioning, thanking sort of independence. And then from Gumi, he went to Dogon Daji and later to Kano. And Kano, being a cosmopolitan city, is not a new to innovate the Maghreb and Arab world, because they are a little bit far ahead of us in time and in witnessing changes. So he might have been influenced there by other ideas. And then he studied in Sudan, in Bakhtiri. It's also it's another space. So space, open space, shapes Gumi's ideology and movement. And then when he come to do his teaching, we could see that this is a special and temporal journey of Gumi. I don't want to talk more of geography, so this is what I have explained. And this is a map trying to capture his movement around the space from, forget about Mecca and London, they are not placed in their original position. But to say much is that Gumi has international exposure and local exposure, and urban centers are always seen as place of radicalization, shaping someone's teaching and ideology. And we can see the role of human geography, the experience in space, the reformation, his interaction within the space with radical people like Malam Aminu Kano, try to reimpose his own moral and cultural view. I have only 2 slides. And then diffusion theory, we could see how his teaching begin from a small town in Maru, where he has his students around him, up to his SAS, and then, but you could see that it was when he moved to Kaduna, an independent city, that his teaching become more pronounced, and from there he used geographical places, the mosques where he's teaching, the school, the radio, all of these are geographical places, and they have networks and connection. And this combined with this, I argue that it is this exposure, it is the use of geographical space that gives Gumi power, and Gumi is a product of geography. Special reading of reform in northern Nigeria should be something that we look often to study other personality. Thank you.
Thank you very much.